everyone, what is up and welcome back to another video. So as most of you would have known, I got the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra about a week ago. For those of you who have not watched my unboxing video, do watch it. I'll give it in the timestamp above, so do go check that out. So I've been using it for about a week now and I've got some thoughts about the phone. So let's get started into the video. Here's the phone that I got. For those who didn't see my unboxing video, this is the green color 256GB variant. The phone screen is a 6.8-inch Quad HD plus dynamic AMOLED display. Samsung really names their display in weird ways, but we all know Samsung's display are really good. And this phone has a 8.9mm thickness and it weighs 288 grams. And now before we take a look at anything else, let's take a look at the physical features like we take in all our review videos. So firstly, here's the power button. And here's our volume rockers, volume up and down. Up top here we have our 5G millimeter wave antenna here. And here at the bottom we have the S Pen, the speakers, here are the speakers. This is the signal band, this is the SIM card tray, this is the USB-C charging port. And at the back here we have a quad camera setup. This is the 12 megapixel ultra wide camera with f2.2 aperture. And the second camera is a 108 megapixel wide angle camera with f1.8 aperture. And the third camera is a 10 megapixel telephoto lens with f4.9 aperture and a 10x optical zoom. But we are not done here, we have another camera. The fourth camera is here. The fourth camera is again a 10 megapixel telephoto lens but with f2.4 aperture and a 3 times optical zoom. So this has a 10x optical zoom and this has a 3x optical zoom. And here we have our flashlight. And here is the laser. This is to enhance autofocus, close range and low light environment photos. So this is just basically just to enhance your photos. I've personally not tried this out yet. I've personally not tried out a photo using the low light, so I don't really know about this. We have taken a look at the physical features of the camera. Now let's take a photo and video on the front and the back camera to see how they actually look and sound. Here's a picture from the front facing camera of the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. And here's a video from the front-facing camera of the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. I definitely don't know how this is looking. I'll look at it during the editing. But all of you, please take a look at it and tell me how it is in the comments below. I'm shooting this video in HD with 30 frames per second. That's the minimum quality that I can take this in. And this is the photo from the rear camera of the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. And this is a video from the rear camera of the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. I'm shooting in 8K 30 frames per second. Take a look at it and tell me how the video is in the comments below. That has been done. I'll definitely take a look at them when I edit. Let's move on. And now before starting off with any testings, let's first run Geekbench because that's the basic and usually in all our reviews we usually start off with Geekbench. So let's just start off with that too on this. So I'm going to click run CPU benchmark and it's running. Now let's wait for it to finish.
A few moments later.
And there we have our results. And we have successfully run Geekbench CPU. We have 1243 for single core and 3411 for multi-core. Those are really good numbers, especially for a smartphone. With this done, let's move on to Geekbench Compute. So here we are, Geekbench Compute, and I'm going to click Run Compute Benchmark. It's running. Now let's wait for it to finish.
A few inches later.
That really took a while, but we are finally done. And the Geekbench score for Geekbench Compute is 5963. As I was running this test, I opened Twitter and I saw a user post about the Geekbench and the real world testings. So it basically said that Samsung is actually letting the full CPU run for the benchmarks and limiting them a lot in real life testings. So we will take that into consideration and look at that when we do real world testings of this phone. We are done with this score and let's look at the phone. So the phone is actually not hot at all. The phone isn't even warm. It's just slightly warm, but it isn't really an issue. And now I've turned off the phone and the heat is just gone. The heat dissipation of Samsung is really good in this phone. So now that the Geekbench scores have become useless, let's try with the 5G speeds and see how fast 5G is on this phone. Okay, we have this open. Now let's click go. It's connecting and there we go.
A few moments later.
And there we are. Our scores for the speed test are done and we get 168 for downloads and a 26.4 for uploads. Well, upload is definitely slow, but the downloads are really good. I definitely know that most of you have better 5G connection, but this connection is actually considered best for my carrier, because usually when I use 5G my phone lags a lot. And yep, you heard that right, 5G actually lags, and so this is considered really good for the phone. And after the speed test, the phone is again hot. It's not warm now, but it's hot. It's actually hot to the touch. And once I turn the phone off, the heat just dissipates quickly. For me, these 5G speed are really good because my previous phone, my Galaxy S21, was actually not getting this kind of high speeds. And I also wanted to say that Singapore, we don't have any special 5G millimeter wave bands here or here. We don't have any of them. We only have these normal signal cables here. 5G does work with that, but just that at a lower speed. Now we have done the Geekbench and looking at the physical features like we always do in all our reviews. Now it's time to get into my review. My experience using this phone for a week. So firstly, this phone is just a Note phone. This is not the Samsung Galaxy S22 but a Samsung Galaxy Note. Well, I know Marcus Brownlee has already said this joke before, but that is what it is. This is actually a Note phone. This is a Note phone, but it does live up to the Galaxy S name due to its high-end features. I have personally not used the Note before. I have personally not owned a Note phone before, so this is completely new for me. Obviously, I've used them when I went to the Samsung Experience store just to try them out, but other than that, I've never owned one personally. And this is my first time actually holding a Note, but not exactly an official Note, but yeah, it is a Note. So now firstly, let's talk about the screen. The flat Note screen, it isn't really that flat, it does has the edge, but the flat rectangular Note display has actually been great for watching videos. So I've been watching a lot of video on this phone due to its flat display. As you can see here, I'm playing some HDR content, and this phone is just great for watching videos due to its flat rectangular display. But the rectangular display, which was an advantage for watching videos, has also come as a disadvantage for me, because as you can see here, I'm able to hold the phone, but the phone is actually really wide for me to hold, so I gotta stretch my hand a little. So as you can see here, my hand is like this, and I gotta stretch my hands to hold the phone. That has been a disadvantage for me because I'm not able to hold the phone compact like my S21 here. So with this, I'm able to hold it compact. I can touch my fingers with this phone in the middle, so that's how compact this phone is. But this phone is quite huge for my hands, and that has been a disadvantage because sometimes it's just uncomfortable when you hold it for quite some time. Now we have constantly talking about the footprint and basically how good the screen is. It's now time to check how good the phone screen really is. Just now I played some HDR videos just to show all of you how the screen is. But now we want to play some HDR videos to test the screen. So we're going to test for blooming issue and some other stuff also. So let's continue and play some HDR. So I've now played some HDR videos. I'm going to turn the brightness to max. I have turned the brightness to max, and now let's check for some blooming issues if there's any. Usually Samsung's display are the best, so we don't really have to worry about blooming, but we're going to check it anyways just to make sure. So let's watch closely for a while and check for some blooming. Okay, I could clearly see some blue shades here rather than the pixels being totally black. Those rays are really amplified here. Okay, so I think that was the pixel actually being blue, because I could see some blue tint here too. Here we have this white flower. That is really good. I don't really know why, but I feel like there's a slight blooming issue. I'm really skeptical about this because I feel like sometimes there's a slight blooming here and there, but sometimes there isn't. So if any of you could see any blooming issues, leave it in the comments below so that I will also know. And now we're done with the screen testings. Now it's time for the speaker test. I want to test the speakers and see how the sound really is. The sound at full volume. Okay, now it's time to click play. Okay, so the speakers were really quite loud, but they weren't as loud as I was expecting. I feel like the speakers on the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra aren't really that high. I mean, like, they aren't really as big of an improvement. They're actually as loud as the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, I think. I'm not really sure, but hopefully if I get my S22 Ultra on time, before the 1-1 review, I will definitely do a comparison between both these speakers. But these speakers are really good, no complaints about them, but just that I feel like the upgrade to the speakers aren't really that significant. I also felt like the microphone speakers on the S22 Ultra have gotten better from the S21 Ultra. For some reason, I don't really know why, but I just felt like it. But like I said, I have to get my S21 Ultra in my hands before we can do any testing. And now we are done with everything, left with the new product that has been introduced into the S lineup. Yep, that's the S Pen. S Pen is not new to Samsung, but it's new to the S lineup. It has always been in the Note series, but now this is the new S or the new Note, you know, like the new normal. This is the new Note maybe. And now let's take a look at the S Pen. Press it in and just pull the S Pen out. There you go. My phone is locked here, and once I take out the S Pen, I have a notepad to write. There you can see this animation. I hope you can see it. Here's the animation. Let me just write. Let me just draw a smiley face here with just a bit of hair. Okay, there we are. Okay, yeah, please don't judge my drawing. It's ugly, but you get my point. And the latency of the S Pen has also been reduced, so it does have smooth writings. Let me just increase this volume first. I'm gonna draw, and I hope all of you can hear the sound of the S Pen. And if you can't hear, then during editing I think I will just increase the volume of this. So I can choose my colors here, so I'm gonna go for a yellow, and let's start writing. The writing experience was really good, and I hope you would have heard the scribbling sound. That was really nice. So it was like writing on paper. Let me just draw a circle, and let me just color it. Okay, there you go. You get my point. That's the S Pen, and I feel like the S Pen is more of a gimmick than a feature, and that is because normal people don't really have much use with this S Pen. As this is only mainly meant for artists, like you could just see here that we have color choosings and we can just draw. It's a very low latency. These are only good for artists. I did use it a few times to write pointers for my videos, like, you know, like this subscribe here. But other than just writing down some quick notes, you know, handwriting, this S Pen isn't really a deal for me. I tried gaming with this phone, but I know that is not why this pen is meant for, but I just wanted to try it out. So I tried gaming with this S Pen, and apparently that was a really horrible experience. I mean, what more can we expect, right? Gaming being bad on the S Pen was something that I expected, so I'm not really disappointed. But I just want to give a quick shout out to the top clicking of the S Pen. That this is really nice. This is meant to take the pen from the phone in and out, so just put it in and take it out. But this is actually really good for, you know, just clicking and making it feel like a real pen, even though it's not actually an actual pen. But the only thing that I'm skeptical about this pen is the S Pen tip. And that is because there was once I was writing and my friend actually tipped my hand, and because of that I just had a small peel of plastic coming out from the S Pen. So I'm really concerned about the durability. I wasn't concerned till then, but now I'm really concerned because it was just a slight push and just a small layer of plastic came off this. So I'm really concerned about that, especially in the long run when you use it for a year or two. I'm really skeptical about it. Of course, I don't know much about the pen because I'm just a new user. I gotta use it and test it out to see how it really is. So for now, I think I'm just gonna save this. You're done. And yep, that's my 1 week review on the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. This isn't a very detailed review going through every single specs because, like it states in the title, this is just a 1 week review. So I wasn't able to use much of this phone. I was able to try my best to use all the features, but I couldn't. So because of that, there will definitely be a 1 month review which will have more detail and more in-depth reviews. So I'll be talking about more of the minute features rather than the obvious ones. Stay tuned for that. But till then, there's definitely a lot of content coming up. We have lots of testings to do. So how does this phone stand up for gaming and all that stuff will be in the 1 month review. Just do wait for that. Till then, get subscribed, turn on notification, and do watch all the testing videos that will be coming up very soon. With that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.